Are we ready?
Oh, there you go.
Ha. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Chaska Human Rights Commission meeting of Thursday, April 28th, 2022. Would you please do the roll call, Elise?
Commissioner Kamen,
Present.
Commissioner Hubbard,
Present.
Commissioner Wilbur,
Here.
Commissioner Haga,
Here.
Commissioner White, Commissioner Sanderson, Commissioner Zayak, Chair Carlson.
Present. Our two absences tonight are due to Juana is with the Romanian Council tonight, meeting with somebody very important. I've forgotten the person's name. I'm sorry. Does anybody know who she was meeting with?
No.
Okay, but it was somebody very important tonight. And she said she will watch us diligently tomorrow morning. I assured her that we would be a lively group tonight, but that we would miss her. Commissioner Sienna White is absent due to COVID exposure, so we hope that she's watching or will watch tomorrow and hope that she's feeling better. So may I have a motion? Oh, we've all been given an agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Kaylee. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Hannah. Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. We don't have any open forum or guest presentation tonight, but we do have a very busy agenda tonight to cover lots of exciting activities coming up. So that moves us to approving the minutes of our last month's meeting. Are there any corrections or additions that need to be made? The only comment that I've had from our absent individuals is that Commissioner Sienna White wants to join you, Jennifer,
Oh, wonderful.
for the MLK breakfast. Having heard that there's no additions or deletions, may I have a motion to approve the April 28, 2022 meeting minutes?
So moved.
Motion made by Hannah. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jennifer. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Treasurer's report. Elise.
Yes, so what you'll see on the treasurer's report, we added in April, late April, we had the $1,000 expense for a Green Card Voices exhibit that was paid out. That was, part covered as some donations that were made earlier in March. In May, what you'll see in May is just I thought I would put the $1,000 that this group budgeted for the Pride picnic, the Pride celebration, so that you could see overall where we're standing at. So really no additional bills since the April meeting.
Great. Are there any questions for Elise? Having heard none, may I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
A motion to approve.
Thank you, Martin. Is there a second?
I'll second. Taking our turns.
Thank you so much. Pardon me?
So we're taking our turns.
I was going to say, we're all checking the boxes, absolutely. If there's no further discussion, all in favor of approving the treasurer's report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. And here's our big discussion. We're ready to hear about the Pride celebration.
There's so much on this old business. Chair Carlson. So in honor of reporting on the Pride celebration, I came wearing Pride hair, so I'm dressing the part. Super excited. We are 2 weeks out. Hard to believe that we're 2 weeks out from Pride. It is, again, this coming, 2 weeks from now, Sunday, June 12th, from 3 to 6 p.m. here in City Square Park. Is that what we actually call it? Mm-hmm. All right. I just call it the gazebo. Meet by the gazebo. We have had great enthusiasm and input from the Chaska GSA. I'm so excited to work with those kids. They're awesome group, and have connected with Parks and Rec again. We have all the supplies for the community art project, all the tie-dye supplies ready to go. Ice cream has been ordered. There's a DJ in place. We're still working on food trucks. It's hard in the summer to get food trucks when you can't guarantee a certain number. But I think there are a couple of local restaurants that may at least have some folks there handing out information so that if folks are hungry and they can just walk a half block up the street to get some food. I will share with Elise tomorrow to send out to the group Sign Up Genius for volunteering. And hopefully we can also share that with city council members, Elise.
Yes.
Because we had I think at least 2 city council people help out last year, but we will need help. I think we said scooping and perhaps tie-dye support, which I know that Commissioner Hubbard's partner was very instrumental in helping.
She wants to come back.
Awesome. She was fantastic in supporting the tie-dye, but we'll have students doing face painting and henna. They're all very excited to come out. We have Parks and Rec has created an event. I talked to Kevin tonight with the city. Kevin has added the city as a co-sponsor of that event, so he will start promoting that on city channels and is sending the Herald a press release. So to the extent that we can all share with our networks, I think that would be really great. It's listed on the Twin Cities Pride calendar, so it's part of the regional community events. So we're starting to get the word out there, hoping for good weather. But right now, I think the biggest need is going to be finding folks to volunteer. We've got a lot of high schoolers that are volunteering to do a lot of the work, but to the extent, I'm going to share it with actually the administration team at Chaska High School too, to see if we can get some of those folks to come volunteer. But that's 2 days after graduation, so hopefully they're all going to be conscious at that point. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's the end of the school year for us, so I think it's going to be a great event. You know, it's always hard to know, but I'm hoping that we can have at least as many folks as we had last year and build on that.
Absolutely.
So happy to take any questions. I guess there was some confusion over who paid for what, so I guess I can confidentally say that we will be under budget because it sounds like Parks and Rec may also have some money.
Oh.
So we will certainly stay within the allotted amount. There's actually also a local business that wants to sponsor. So we're working with Sweet Salon Shop, Barber Shop is gonna sponsor something at Pride. So we're working with her as well to get some private donations. So I promise to come in at or under budget, Chair Carlson.
Thank you.
What time is it?
It's from 3 to 6.
3 to 6, okay.
And we will-
Kaylee?
Yeah.
You had mentioned earlier that there was going to be a community art project. Is that still going on?
Yep. We've got all the supplies purchased, and so we're going to have a big canvas essentially with different media that folks, if they want to write a few words or they want to draw a picture, just talk about what Pride means to them. And
Okay.
I think the intention is that maybe we can put it up at Chaska High School for a bit, maybe in the community center, and sort of have it move from space to space, but to have it be preserved
Yep.
for the future.
That'd be great.
And I want to thank Owana. She's been fantastic as a co-conspirator in this effort. So we actually talked at noon today, so she was very sad she wasn't going to be here tonight. So hi, we miss you.
Are there any questions? So will Parks and Recreation set up games in addition to our art station?
Yes, they're bringing the, what do they call it, the block party truck, and that's got tables and chairs, and then they have the lawn games that we had last year, and there'll be sidewalk chalk, and so a little bit more, I think, entertainment for the younger folks than maybe we had last year, so.
Great. And we had some yard decorations. Does that sound, do you recall that?
I do. I don't think most of those survived.
I see.
But I know that that was part of the order that we asked Parks and Rec to put in. So I don't know
Okay.
specifically what we're getting, but we did ask for some sort of pride-themed lawn signs and tablecloths and that kind of thing.
Great. Any questions? Other than promotion, it sounds like you've got everything covered.
Promotion and then volunteering. So once we get
Volunteering.
that out to folks, and I will send that to, I've got the link now, so I'll send it to
Is
Elise to
this
get out
rain
tomorrow.
or shine?
we really don't have a rain plan, so.
It's gonna be sunny. It's gonna
We
be
have not planned a rain date, and I think with like a DJ and things like that, that would be hard,
Yeah.
so. I guess we will, cross that bridge, hopefully we won't have to.
Well, I'll show up, rain or shine.
I will also be there, rain or shine,
I will be there when you're time.
but here's hoping that we don't have to wait.
Right, exactly. Well, it all sounds very exciting. Now, will the city be turning the lights on this year? Have you reached out?
Like at Fireman's Park, is that what you mean? I'm sure they will. I have not asked Kevin, but they did, last year they did. I mean, I know they've done purple on sort of the LGBTQ, like, support day.
Right.
So I would be very surprised if they weren't also doing that this year, but it looks like Elise is gonna follow up to
I
confirm.
will follow up and let you know.
Any other question? How can we help, other than volunteering?
Spread the word.
Okay. Very good. Ms. Barnhart will be with us?
Yes, she will be there. I think the difference between this year and last year is that last year, Pride festivities were very curtailed because of COVID. And I think this is right at the beginning of the Twin Cities Pride Festival, so I don't know how many outside of we had some folks, as you remember, that
Yes.
came from outside the community because there are limited opportunities to come together as a community. So I don't know how that's gonna play out this year, but,
Okay.
still hoping that as a community, we come together to celebrate each other.
Great, wonderful.
Oh, should we wear our Human Rights Commission shirts, or should we wear Pride shirts, or?
I think that's it's great, if you are not wearing your Human Rights Commission shirt, then if you have your ID, your, help me, name,
tag.
that might be a good compromise.
Okay.
So, last year I was the one person in a Pride shirt not wearing my HRC shirt, but,
It looked good, though.
thank you.
It did. I think some of the pictures are on our webpage
Yeah. Yep.
from last year.
Yep.
Okay, anything else about Pride?
Not about Pride, but with the T-shirts and name tags. I haven't gotten it as a new commissioner. I don't know if
No.
one has, but that might be something to note.
Check
Great.
on that. They're
It's
beautiful.
a stunning yellow.
Yes.
They are Packer
give them up.
colors, if you are a Wisconsin fan.
I'm a Marylander, so.
Former Assistant City Administrator Nate Cabot and I were both very happy that they were yellow and green. I see that look.
Can we put that off the
Commissioner
record?
Great. Moving along to empathetic response, and I think
Nope, you
Elise,
skipped.
I did?
River City Days?
Oh, how could I skip River City Days? Who's in charge of River City Days this year?
Martin.
Martin?
I believe you just threw someone under the bus, ma'am.
He was trying, but he just was too quiet about it.
I quoted the same time you said
I
my name.
know.
How are you tonight, Martin?
I'm very well, I'm very well. I don't know, you can hop in anytime.
I will.
I missed the very last meeting. I think we had the very first meeting. Did you have a recap with that one?
No, I wasn't here. I was sick this meeting, so we didn't recap.
I provided an update from the meeting we had
The-
in
so you
April.
weren't there either.
No, no.
We truly missed you.
Yes.
I think you were in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Yes, I was
Yes,
that
and
way.
we actually looked at the screen, Martin, and looked for you on the screen. We Googled, oh, no, never mind. Never mind.
We thought you might
It
zoom
was-
in and
what was I
and
doing?
join us.
I don't remember what I was doing that day.
We couldn't Zoom, though. We were only allowed to watch.
Oh,
on
that's
YouTube.
right. I
Yeah.
didn't, yes, so I didn't bother. That's
Yeah,
right.
we weren't allowed to
It's like, wait a minute, what was I doing? Well, I don't think we have really much of an update from what Elise has updated you on, other than if we could ask for a little bit of cash, I guess, on the side. We don't really have I don't know, we haven't really talked about a dollar amount, but I was thinking 200
That's actually what I was thinking.
for candy or.
We don't need to
incidentals.
meet. We just think the
Yeah,
same
we
things.
do, we've got,
Yeah. Yeah,
if
'cause-
that's a possibility.
As the heads turn.
I feel certain that if you made a motion for the amount of $200, we would approve it.
No, well,
Coming
let me
from
make
the
an
co-
emotion. I'd like to make a motion that we approve $200 to go to River City Days.
I will second that.
Motion made by Martin, seconded by Hannah. Is there any discussion?
Let's get good candy.
Yes.
Good candy
Yes.
this time?
It's the only stipulation.
Yeah,
Hard candy?
just not Smarties.
No Smarties?
Hard candy's not necessarily kid-friendly either, so maybe a
True.
mix. Maybe a mix. I trust you.
Something that doesn't melt.
You run a concession. You have concessions as part of your business. You know
Don't
what kids
trust
buy.
me. Okay.
Do we need to
If there's
vote
no
on it?
further
Yes.
discussion, all those in favor of approving $200 for River City Days signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry.
We,
So
When-
Martin and Hannah, you have $200.
okay.
When, can you remind me when River City Days is again?
The last weekend.
In July. Okay, so we have time for a
You will-
volunteer sign up.
You will be in town, I'm sure.
Wow, that was a very scary look. Yes, I'm sure I will be
Even
in
over the
town.
mask.
Yes.
Man, must have been a teacher in a past life. That was scary.
So we, just for folks that weren't here last year, we bought a bunch of the swag that we hand out at the end of last year, so we don't need to buy any more. It likely costs more than $200 to put on the booth for River City Days, but
Great.
a lot of it was already purchased, so, yeah.
Have you
But-
been to the basement?
I have, I went down there this week.
So sorry.
No, it's like any city hall basement, pretty much.
How many have you been in? No.
Several.
So we for sure have the ceiling fan, or ceiling fans,
It's a-
hand fans.
That would be amazing.
The bands, the tent, pens, brochures, tablecloth.
Fantastic.
I think those are some of the key things that I found down there, so.
I don't think we had any pens left over.
There were some pens
Okay.
down there. I mean, not many. You're talking probably 50,
Okay.
but a few.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
No.
Do we have a theme?
We're working on it.
Okay, great.
It's
Have a
my
flash
fault we
mob?
missed the last meeting. What was
You can
it?
have a flash mob.
Yes. Not really. but- Water park, who knows? But you do have to show up.
I will, look,
It's
she's
my,
already,
it's my anniversary, and I was told I gotta be there.
she's already put the
You see my
fear of
eyes?
creator in me.
This is the Martin look.
No, she's way scarier than you are. I'm sorry.
That's fine. As long as you-
Commissioner Carlson has already put the fear of creator in me, so.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, it sounds like we'll have two very exciting June and July months. And we'll still have money left over for the balance of the year. So thank you all for your work. Empathetic response. Officially now, Elise, you are our person in charge of empathetic response today.
So am I not on this committee anymore, or do you want me to run?
Oh, I am so sorry. Of course you are.
Great.
Thank you.
Would you like me to go over this?
Yes, please.
Sure, okay, wonderful. So I think everybody knows that Emily has resigned, so it will just be me. Okay, so everybody now knows that former Commissioner Fillmore is no longer on the commission. So if anybody wants to join Empathetic Response, or I'm happy to have you. I'd love a second set of eyes and ears, so I'm happy to take first drafts. Understanding the events that are happening in the nation, I think that it would be appropriate to scrap the empathetic response that you see in here and do a statement based on what just happened with our national tragedy, and write a statement in support of the families that lost their children and the teachers involved in the shooting, or make a statement on gun violence as opposed to the statement that we see in here in this packet. It just feels a little more relevant to what's going on in the community. I'm happy to hear your feedback on that. It just feels like this might be more appropriate given the circumstances.
I
I agree with you that I think that there's other issues that we could address right now. My question is, if it's not written yet, we can't vote on it until next month. And so, I mean, just in general, I'm wondering about how that works overall with the empathetic responses that we want to put out, because it really waters it down when it comes a month later.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering if there's a way that we can figure out, you know, a way to be more timely with things.
That was something Kevin Wright and I talked a little bit about today, because we were talking about this particular item and the timing of it and what has happened this week. And, you know, an option would be is that a response is prepared, you know, tomorrow or early next week. And what I can do is send it out to all of you and then have you individually respond to me if you feel that it's okay or appropriate or want to make edits and that sort of thing. And I think we could probably move along that lines.
I
So
can write
not an
something.
official vote at the meeting, but we're getting buy-in from the commission.
I can draft something tomorrow and send it to Elise tomorrow if we would like to move forward with that. If people vote no, then that's completely okay. If they don't like what's written, want to make changes, but I would be happy to write a draft. I think it's appropriate. But I certainly would recommend nixing what's on the back page, even if we decide not to post something about what's happening this week, just because I think it seems insensitive, given the timing of what's going on.
I agree.
Martin, how do you feel?
I got a headache. I think we should write something. Have a response for what happened in Texas. I don't think we should get rid of this.
Right.
If this was relevant yesterday or last week, it's still relevant to just wait and put it out
Save it.
next month, but do something immediately, or, something the next week.
It could be something we do leading into the next school year too, like at the beginning of the fall.
Yeah, I think this message is important. It just this week, it's probably not the right one.
Do we have a time that we think this is appropriate, and did people like the language, or did they want this edited? Because we could vote to get this up in June, or like pick a date to post this, or would we just table this till next meeting? How does that work?
I like the idea of maybe the fall, and then before it gets posted or published, we could kind of revisit, do we want to take things out or emphasize certain parts of it, closer to the time it's going to be published.
Okay. Great.
I agree with that. How do you feel, Julie?
About tabling this?
Uh-huh.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Do you have a suggestion or a thought on a fall issuing?
Well,
Potential.
we are headed into a probably contentious election season, so my guess is that this will be relevant in the fall.
Yeah, I think so too.
So,
Hannah, are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Great. Then, if you are willing, Tracy, to do that.
Yes.
To draft something, send it to Elise. Elise can send it out to us. We can weigh in on that. And then I'll take the step forward saying that we all conclude that it's a good document, then we would turn back to Elise to have it issued for us on our behalf.
Great. I will do that. I will get it to you tomorrow. I know there's a need to move quickly with these.
Right. Elise, a point of clarification. Do we need to have each of these responses approved by city council
We don't
prior
have,
to posting?
Sorry. We don't have to have it necessarily approved by city council. We would just like Kevin and our communications to take a look at it to make sure that it's appropriate. That it's okay, it's coming from this body, that's how it's released, but you are an appointed group by the city council. So that's how we, as staff, we'd like to take a look at it first. And theoretically, we would do that before we send it out to the commission, so that we're not making changes after the fact.
Great. That'd be great. Any questions about the process?
I have a suggestion.
Sure.
Just for in writing it. I think, well, two things. One, I think there's so much still coming out and still that people don't know about what happened. And so I think just keeping it general is probably a good idea. And I think just aware that we didn't respond when there was a shooting in Richfield earlier this year. So maybe at least mentioning that, like, you know, how many have happened across the country this year, including in our own neighborhood, or not our neighborhood, but, you know, down the road.
I agree with that. In fact, I think I would be just as in favor of speaking out about what happened in Buffalo. We seem to have forgotten about that in less than a week, and I realized that
Yes.
mass shootings happen every week, it feels like. But I think that it would be appropriate to list, if there was one at a house of worship in San Diego or someplace in California. So I think many vulnerable communities have been attacked, and so highlighting that piece and not focusing just on the Uvalde situation is appropriate.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I think the challenge is, I'll certainly but it's the issue of rights to carry guns. Might be, we'll see how you craft it. I don't envy your drafting tonight or tomorrow morning.
I have some ideas on how to approach this. I will probably give you a couple of options.
Okay,
As a fundraiser, communications is a thing that I have to do for work. So I feel comfortable about how to phrase this because this comes up in conversations. But I'm going to give you a couple of different angles to choose from because we don't want to get too in the weeds of the Second Amendment conversation, more of standing from a place of support to the families, condemning mass violence, that sort of angle, I think, just as a commission.
makes good sense. Wonderful, thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
That leads us to strategic planning, and Kaylee, I think you were going to take that on?
Well, yes, but I will confess that my focus has been on Pride and getting to the end of the school year. So 8 days left. So I will be coming back in July with something for folks to consider.
Great. Calendar and programs.
Juana and I have a meeting on Sunday. We'll be sitting down to talk about some ideas for calendar and programs. We have not had a conversation about this yet, but we will have something to bring to the table next month with just suggestions or comments on our ideas moving forward.
Terrific, thank you.
Sure.
Website,
Know who's on that committee?
nobody's done anything.
I don't even know who's on that committee.
I know I agreed to help with website, though as a new commissioner, I don't know anything about where the website sits or how I can be of service. So if anybody wants to give me some marching orders, I'm still happy to do some work on it, but I will need some direction on it.
The website committee, I think, consisted of me.
And me.
Yes, and Hannah, and Kevin,
Yes.
our communications for the city, and now you.
Great.
We'll need to schedule a meeting.
Okay.
Are you still willing to serve on that?
I'm happy to, yes, yeah.
Thank you, Hannah. Great, terrific. All right. Human Rights Celebration. Well, I know that we've added a commission to you, Jennifer. Anything to report?
Well, the breaking news that the committee has doubled in size, and this is wonderful. And so I guess that means that we can schedule a meeting at some point. I don't know how is best to do this, Elise, because I'd like to meet with Kevin and then perhaps with some people from Parks and Rec. Before we had Nate send out the invitation to kind of coordinate when people's schedules work together, so would you be willing to do that?
Definitely.
Okay.
Jen, is it just you and Sienna?
Well, Sarah is maybe, unless someone
I
else
can-
jumps
I
at
could-
the chance.
I would be happy to help. There's so much intersection anyway, so.
Okay.
I would be happy to do that.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Take Sarah off the hook.
I'll be,
Don't worry, we'll call you and ask you questions.
great. All right. All right. Green Card Voices. Well, we wrapped up the month. I want to publicly thank Kevin Wright for taking the Green Card Voice panels back to Minneapolis. They were unable to come to Chaska and pick up the panels. And so Kevin, on his way home, apparently dropped them off, had the opportunity to pick up a couple of their free books. And so I know that he's going to be taking those to the library for additions to the library books.
Thanks,
But-
Kevin.
Absolutely. So I sent him a quick note saying thank you for helping out the Human Rights Commission once again. And glad that the panels are back to that organization. And so, yeah.
Chair, yeah, Chair Carlson, I'd just like to pass along some unsolicited feedback I got about the event. It's very good. Giving you the look.
I was like, oh no.
So we had a meeting here, just a typical city meeting, and a gentleman from the Muslim community was a part of it, and he was like, do you know those people that had, you know, the immigration panel, and meaning what what this group put on? And I was like, yeah, we do know them. And he's like, that was wonderful. It was so good to see how welcoming this community is and the things that are being done for our immigrants. And so I had to share that feedback. It was unsolicited, just kind of came out of the blue that he wanted to share that. So I wanted to pass that along to the group.
That's nice. That is awesome.
That's very good. Good to hear. I think it was an opportunity for us to open discussions with a variety of people in Chaska. I heard from people who came and said that they were surprised, that they didn't realize that what we thought were, that we are such a welcoming committee or community, we weren't as welcoming as we could be. And they were going to personally double their efforts.
Excellent.
So I thought that was good. Yeah. Anything else about Green Card Voices?
Does anyone have any suggestions, or, I don't know that it was something we can do every year, but, just generally, community events like that and panels and like hearing voices of other folks in the community, I think is great, and, I don't know if anyone had any feedback.
No, I thought it was really nicely done. I think, of course, the goal will be to fill more seats, but otherwise, the information was wonderful. I learned a lot as a new Chaskan about the community. I thought it was
really nicely put together.
I think my favorite events are always the ones where we hear voices from our community and, you know, hear the different stories that maybe if you bump into them at Target, you're not going to get to hear that kind of thing. You know, you can say hi or whatever, but I just think it's really cool to hear the richness of what's going on in this community and, you know, what brought people to Chaska and what, you know, what people are contributing to Chaska too.
And I think our challenge is that how do we carry that forward? How do we carry the initiative forward? This past Saturday, I attended an event at Riverview Terrace hosted by Latino Voices. And they had invited the sheriff's office, the police department. They had invited a human rights attorney, not human rights, an immigration attorney. I don't know if I was told his name, but he was unable to attend. Southern Valley Alliance was there. The chief of police came. Carver County Sheriff Cameroon was there. And it was just a great opportunity to hear from the Latino Voices organization about how they want to carry a message forward in Chaska. And to see the participation by our law enforcement groups so that no matter what happens in Carver County, they receive anybody who is stopped or has an encounter with law enforcement, here's the same message. And that is that they are here to serve. And I thought it was, I didn't stay the entire afternoon, but there was good participation while I was there. And they were certainly thankful that somebody from the Human Rights Commission was there. I talked with Julie Janke, who is the community service person for the City of Chaska Police Department, and she too encouraged the dialogue between the Human Rights Commission and others in our community. And so I'm hoping that that's our challenge, I think. How do we take what we heard in our month of Green Card Voices and carry it forth? How do we have dialogue? How do we hear what our community needs and or wants to have? The other organization that I've talked briefly with is the Mi Casa organization. They're here in Chaska also. I think that those two organizations can help us reach into communities that are not represented here with us on the Human Rights Commission, and certainly open paths of dialogue. So I don't know what our next steps are, but I know that I want to be receptive and encourage the dialogue. Perhaps it would be appropriate that we invite them to a meeting with us and they could talk with us about what they're trying to do. That's probably the best thing to do.
I'd support that for sure.
Okay, do you have anything else that you wanted to share?
No, I don't think so.
Did a great job.
That was a nice event.
It was. A very nice event. Okay. New business. Kindness 112. I asked Commissioner White to talk with us tonight a little bit about an organization that she started or that she was a part of beginning back in the early days of COVID. And she has kindly sent us a school supplies drive flyer. And I just want to read to you what she wrote for us. Imagine Sienna being here and talking. 112% kindness was first started in the spring of 2020, 1 month into the pandemic. We first started as a few ninth graders from Chaska High School, and we have now grown to over 30 members, ranging from 9th to 12th graders from 4 different high schools: Chaska, Chanhassen, Southwest Christian, and Holy Family. We are currently starting our 3rd annual school supply drive to raise money to buy school supplies for 10 schools in our district that need our help. In the last 2 years, we have raised over $1,000, and we are hoping to raise more funds and receive more donations, as we have double the schools in need than years prior. For ways to help, check out our website, found by searching 112%kindness.weebly.com. We'll also be selling bracelets within the next few weeks in downtown Chaska, so individuals can look out for that as well. Any donation helps, and remember, everyone deserves to learn. Sienna has asked that we consider this request and so that it can be promoted through the city's Facebook page. And so I don't know if you have any questions. Sadly, Sienna is not here, but you can see with the flyer that there's also a QR code. I have not used the QR code, so I don't know if I can open that, but I think if you open that QR code, you can donate through
Did
that
she
QR
say
code.
when they're doing, like what dates they're doing the collection?
Oh, I see.
No, I do not have that. But the list of needed supplies are listed for you, so you can see that. And you have Sienna's information that you can contact her for following up on those donations. Actually, I have a case of, what are they called? Binders in my car that I was going to give purple because I thought that was only appropriate for Sienna, for the Hawks, but I didn't bring them in tonight. So I think I would probably need a motion then to approve her school supply drive, or open it up for discussion to see if we would want to support this initiative.
At least does the city have policies around what gets shared?
And that's how this came up today. Kevin and I were talking, we do get a lot of requests from groups to share on social media. And we thought the appropriate way to do this particular request was to have it run through this organization, since Commissioner White is a part of this commission, and that essentially, you know, providing your support behind it, it allows us then to be able to post that on social media.
Well, I think it's just really commendable how it started a few years ago and has grown so much. I know she's been working hard on this. I know a number of the students from 112 Kindness also spoke on the video portion at the Martin Luther King breakfast, and so they are doing just some great things. It's been fun to hear about different things that they're working on, and are really trying to make a difference in this community, not only in Chaska High School or, you know, at their particular school, but just all over the place now in like 10 schools. That's pretty amazing.
I
think having a thought on timing of this would be helpful. I don't know, collecting school supplies at the end of the school year versus back to school, will we see more success if we're helping to promote this in a couple of months? Or does this go year round? Does this drive just a couple of weeks? It would be helpful to have some context around that.
On their website, they need the donations by August 13th.
Okay, so it is for back to school.
I think so.
Okay. And I would say, yes, it makes sense to support it. Maybe I would wait a few weeks to put it up so it's closer to back to school. Let everybody get out of school first, but I think that it's a great thing to do.
If we do that, could we like have a link to this on our website committee?
I'll talk to Kevin about what exactly how we
Okay.
do that, and I can report back next
Okay.
month.
I'm thinking about River City Days. We could also encourage people to bring their supplies
Yeah.
to River City Days, because that makes sure that we have Sienna showing up for the dance.
Just like,
Martin, what do you think? Hannah?
leading on a mission.
That's a good idea.
Can she cover your shift or?
I worked with her last year.
You did,
Yeah, we
yeah,
were side by side for,
a couple of
days.
hours last year.
Well, and I think that, you know, if we could put this out ahead of River City Days and talk about bringing donations when you come, that is close enough to when people are starting to think about, you know, like they're getting their back to school things and stuff. So, that's a great idea to incorporate that into River City Days, I think.
And then you also avoid having to share any QR codes or outside links if you can't, or you don't want to, if we just share that supply list and say, bring these to River City Days. That could kind of avoid any complications, potentially.
Good idea.
how do the students get the supplies? Anyone know?
I think, yeah, that would be a question for Sienna. I think I think they give them to the school offices to distribute to the students, but that's just conjecture. That's the way most of those programs work, so.
But like at River City Days, it would be easier because we could just have a bin, you know, that we collect things in or something. But that's a good question for, in general, how people donate.
Well, yeah, if I'm giving, and I give it to her, and she collects it, where does it go, right? So you want to know where, I would like to know where the donations go. Or how it gets to the person, or if I'm in need, how do I get it?
So maybe we wait until next month when Sienna's here to.
Yeah.
Then we can grill her.
Okay, so can we put this on the agenda for next month?
Yep. And you.
Okay, now, the story about the grocery store. So with my mask, I walk into Cooper's. And I noticed out of the corner of my eye, there was a gentleman over there kind of looking at me. And I thought, I generally say hello to everybody, so I said hello and continued to walk down the aisle. So I came around the corner and there he was again. And I thought, this is strange. And he said, aren't you part of the Human Rights Commission? I said, yes. And he said, you know, I watch you guys on TV. I said, oh, wonderful. Terrific. He said, you guys are really doing great work.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, so naturally I beamed, you know, and I said, well, thank you so much. And so he brought, he is a retired person that has recently started working at the food shelf, the Bountiful Basket food shelf here in Chaska. And he felt that people needed to be aware that there are food opportunities, particularly with our economy right now, that the individuals in Chaska or in the surrounding communities could take advantage of. And so one of them is the Bountiful Basket, and the other one is the Mi Casa food distribution that is through the Abundance Food Program which is through his house foundation. And so you'll recall this past January, we acknowledged the Girl Scout troop who has the little free pantry. And so he also brought that to my attention too. So I guess as a plug for all of those organizations that are helping to meet the needs and putting food into the hands of people that need to have an extension of their weekly food budget or are truly just totally in need, I wanted to share that. But mostly, he did want to say that he was appreciative of the efforts that this commission is doing and reaching out to the city of Chaska. So I thanked him for that. I know a little bit more personal about him, so I intend to follow up with him again, but I just wanted to share that good news. And not only that, we ended up, he ended up buying a whole cart full. I bought one item. But we had a great conversation. So if you're watching tonight, thank you for your feedback and keep letting us know how we're doing. So.
Can I add one more, the food opportunity?
Oh, please do.
The city of Chaska, and I forget who the partners are for it, but they're continuing the, once a month at the Gedney factory, at that site, they're continuing to do the drive-through to pick up a bunch of food, and they always have a great variety. I've volunteered at it a few times. It's very easy to do. Anyone can drive up and open your trunk, and volunteers start putting in different food that they have available, sometimes household items and things too, like cleaning products and such. And I don't remember the dates either, but I know City of Chaska posts it each month, and so do some other organizations throughout the city. So it's pretty easy to find. If you called the City of Chaska, then I think they would be able to give you the dates of that.
It's the third Thursday.
Third Thursday? Okay.
Do we think we should be putting this information on our website as part of our education awareness portion of our mission, just so people have access to that information, or?
We've had that discussion before.
Okay.
And there are definitely benefits to it, but there are so many organizations doing different things that it's hard to, I think everything would get lost in the shuffle if we were advertising for each group for food and for housing and for this and that. I mean, so that's kind of why we've decided to stay away from that, or one of the reasons anyways.
Well, I think another important piece of all of those organizations is the call for volunteers.
Yep.
So if there's extra time in people's schedule, if each of us have extra moments that we can spare, particularly if you speak a different language than English, that certainly is a skill that would be highly valued. And so if maybe that means that you take classes to learn a new language. That was a suggestion that my husband suggested to me today. So at any rate, so thanks for the good news and that our voices are being heard here in Chaska. Is there any other new business?
I'll say you run a very efficient meeting.
I try.
I have some other meetings I'd like for you to share.
Invite me to come over. If there is no other further business to come before us this evening, no other comments to hear, then our next meeting date is June 23rd, 2022. We'll be celebrating after the fact of the Pride event. So we'll have a recap there, getting ready for River City Days, which was always exciting. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Jen, seconded by Martin. All those in favor for adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Thank you very much.
Didn't gavel.